the Rye. It's the In the Rye podcast. Curt Fletcher.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. It's episode 52 in the Rye podcast with Curt Fletcher. I'm Curt Fletcher. We got a fun show today. My guest is going to be comedian / musician Chuck Parker. He's one of my favorite comedians in the scene right now. Very funny dude. I'm going to talk to him about comedy, and we'll talk about music as well. He's been a singer for a long time, and he was even in a band that was signed, and he's in a band called Duke City Riots right now. Dude can sing. If you ever heard him sing, check out some of their stuff for sure. Duke City Riots, and his old band is called Deaf Pedestrians, and they were signed to Virgin Records. Before I talk to Chuck, just want to update my schedule for you. If you're in these areas, come check out a show. I'll be Stir Crazy Comedy Club March 11th and 12th with Josh Sneed, and that's in Glendale, Arizona. And then March 13th, I'll be featuring for my buddy Tim Gaither at Stir Crazy. You can get tickets right now at stircrazycomedyclub.com. That's in Glendale, Arizona, just outside of Phoenix. March 30th, I will be at Revel in Albuquerque doing a benefit show for comedian Don Sherry, who was in a car accident. And she's awesome. She would come to your show if you had one, so come to that. April 7th through the 10th, I'll be at Reno Laugh Factory in Nevada with Tim Gaither. May 21st, I'll be headlining the Naked Winery in Hill City, South Dakota, which is up by Mount Rushmore. And June 17th and 18th, I'll be co-headlining at Looney's Comedy Corner in Colorado Springs with my buddy Cesar Cervantes. The tickets are not on the website yet, but they should be soon, hopefully. So go to loonies.com for tickets for that. Nothing really to update right now, so let's go talk to Chuck Parker, everybody. There we go. Chuck Parker's my guest. Yeah, what's up, Chuck Parker? How you doing, man?
Not much, man. Just freaking running around going crazy, dude.
Hell yeah.
Just, got back from the inaugural recording of Comedy Corner with Courtney Foster.
Nice.
For the Talk ABQ.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, it's like the first episode of that. So Jess Wood and I went over there and went in their studio and did a little interview and trying to promote the showcase that we've got coming up on March 19th. So
cool.
Yeah. So that was fun.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
And you just got done filming a comedy sketch, right? Yesterday or something like that?
Yeah. With old Jared, and he just kind of hit me up and, hey, man, can you be in a sketch? It's like, do you want me to be Jesus? It's like, no, homeless guy. Okay. So I'm getting typecast. I've got a wide range of characters that I can play.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus, homeless guy.
That's funny because I was actually just looking at some sketches that I've written, and one was about Jesus, and I was like, I wonder if Chuck Parker would want to play this.
Yeah, no, I don't mind. I mean, I've got the outfit. You know, I've got the costume, and it's like I've already like more than doubled the usage out of it. So one of the things I really want to do, because you know the guys that come outside of side effects for the and they like scream with like the bullhorn.
Oh yeah.
Once it warms up a little bit, I want to go and fuck with those guys.
Oh, that'd be great. Oh my god.
And just get that live reaction would just be.
That would be so funny. You could do that like at any protest where someone's like,
yeah,
Jesus doesn't like gays, and you just show
that's the thing, and that's what they're doing. Yeah, it's like, are you kidding? It's like, how many disciples did you think were straight? You know,
yeah. You know how many glory holes I've been to?
Yeah, it's like, dude, we're all fucking each other. I hope you know. I mean, Yeah. Hate to break it to you, but
Yeah, why do you think I have
it's
so
a bunch
many
of
dudes
dudes out in
following me
the
around?
woods, together. It's like shit. What do you think is gonna happen? There's one woman, you know. That'd be fun. Yeah,
Oh my god, that'd be
just
so
to fuck
funny.
with those people.
You definitely have to film that.
But now I got typecast as a homeless person. It was fun. It's always fun to work with Jared. So I'm starting to do we're actually I'm writing skits too now and trying to
Oh,
do my
cool.
own stuff. So it's
Awesome.
yeah, it's a nice little community of people just putting together Albuquerque content. So whatever
Love
that
it, dude.
means.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever that means.
Yeah, I was telling Jared, Jared was just on my podcast, and we used to do a sketch comedy type of thing with Danger back in the day, and we filmed a little bit, and man, that was fun. I always enjoyed writing those, and I wrote one. Well, I didn't write the sketch, but I came up with the idea. It was a sitcom called Charles Manson in Charge, and so I was out of town when they filmed it, but Danger put it together, and we had I don't know if you know Tito, comedian. So he played Charles Manson, and then it was pretty funny.
Charles Manson in Charge. That makes sense. There's a lot that could go with that.
Oh yeah.
He's a pretty persuasive fellow, that Charles Manson.
Yeah.
From what we hear,
Yeah, he was. Yeah, I think he did some sketch comedy back in the day.
Yeah. Well, he does. Tito does. He does the improv stuff.
Oh, I was talking about Charles Manson.
Oh, Charles Manson.
I
Yeah,
don't give
of
a shit
course.
about
Yeah,
Tito.
he did some improv. Did he do stand up?
Oh, he should have. He should have.
Yeah. I know.
That'd be funny to picture. Put your hands together for the comedy stylings of Charlie Manson.
Charles Manson. Yeah. Well, that's probably Yeah, I knew he was a frustrated musician and songwriter. Which that is not too far from the frustrated comic. So
right.
Yeah, that really can put you into the okay. Well, I guess I'm just gonna fill up a bunch of hippies with acid and methamphetamines, and use my covert CIA training to facilitate the murder of an actress. Yeah. I'm like, you do. I mean,
yeah.
That seems.
If I had a nickel for every comedian I knew that did that.
Yeah, it's almost a cliche at this point.
Yeah. A couple people at the open mics, I'm like, they're gonna do something later.
Yeah,
not comedy related.
Not comedy related. It'll be a big hullabaloo.
Yeah. So you started out in music, which is cool. So I've been jamming your tunes, man.
Oh shit.
So yeah, since we had lunch that day, you told me you're in a band called Deaf Pedestrians. I found some of your music online, man, and I really dig it. It's like, fuck, I didn't know Chuck could sing.
Yeah,
that was some good shit, dude.
Thanks,
you want to talk about your time in that band, or?
Yeah. No,
okay, cool,
that's what I did for a decade or more, and that band we got signed to Virgin for a little bit, and and just kind of went through the typical label slow death of label stuff where it's just like corporate turnover, and the guy that signed us was scared to get fired, and by being scared to get fired put a hold on any of the things that he had signed, and that we were one of those things, and he wound up getting fired anyway, and we just kind of wound up getting shelved. But no, it's a good band. I mean, it's one of those things that like I had got my identity so wrapped up in it that I was slightly traumatized for a while, that I wound up having to quit doing that and just work a regular gig. But I then started another band when I moved here. I mean, really the end of that band was me moving to Albuquerque. So
so you broke up the band. Okay.
Yeah, like you do. Like you do. But
Yeah.
it is
Well,
what
that's
it
cool,
is.
man. So they were based out of Dallas, right?
Yeah. I was in Dallas for a long time, so maybe like 25 years, something like that.
Oh wow,
But
okay.
yeah, my whole family lives in the Dallas area.
Okay.
So
So did you know you could sing, or you just wanted to start a band, or what was going on there?
I didn't know that I could sing when we first started. I just knew that I didn't like singers. Like I was actually the bass player
Mm-hmm.
for the longest time, and I just wanted to play bass. And it just turned out that everybody that was a singer was a douchebag. So I just
Mm-hmm.
like I'll be the singer. And turns out I could sing. So I'm actually a better singer than a bass player now. But um, um, yeah, no, I'm got pretty decent at that. I think if I start another band, it's going to be just singing. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, yeah. I don't know, but I'm not in a terrible hurry to start another. I'm too busy with comedy these days
Yeah.
to do much. I mean, I still do music, but comedy is that's what's seems to be popping off for me right now.
That's
You
cool,
know,
man. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's a
Well,
lot of
that's cool,
fun.
man. Yeah, yeah. I mean, the lifestyles are pretty similar too, because
Mm-hmm.
you toured quite a bit with Deaf Pedestrians, right? You were on
Yeah.
the road a decent amount.
Yeah. No, it's road gigs. Yeah. I mean, a lot of
Hmm.
hotels and a lot of bad food and, a lot of surprise,
Yeah.
show up, dealing with club owners and
Oh
yeah, there's a
God.
lot of overlap, definitely.
Were there a lot of
Um,
shady club owners in
oh
music?
yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause, yeah, I had another buddy on my podcast one time, and he was telling me like he's like in a funk style band, and there's like
Mhm.
six guys or five guys in the
Mhm.
band, and so they had one guy who would deal with the money, the other guys would be out back waiting for his text to see if the club owner's gonna fuck him over,
Yes.
and so there was one where they had a feeling they were gonna get fucked over, so they
Yeah.
were waiting for it, and so he got the text message, this guy's gonna fuck us over. So they started stealing the dude's TVs off his wall and loading it
Yeah.
up in their truck. So
Yeah.
then when the guy was like, oh, sorry, I can't pay you. And he's like, oh, that's fine. We got your TVs out back. So we're gonna take those.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah. Yeah, you hear stories about like kind of the old days, like the old Motown musicians, would have like a pistol on them,
uh-huh.
to settle up, you know,
Oh yeah. My friend's band
or
had some guns.
gosh, Buddy Holly, all those guys were like strapped.
Oh yeah.
They're Texas boys, so just
Hmm.
freaking, my manager used to tell a story of like I can't remember what the band is, but them going on a tour bus with Buddy Holly, and it's like they've just got like shoulder holsters with like
Oh yeah.
freaking 357 Magnum. It's like holy
Jesus.
crap. Um,
Comedy's
yeah.
never gotten that bad for me.
hmm Yeah, no, I don't think I would go that route, but it's sort of
Yeah.
like um yeah, I guess you just kind of hope that they pay him, but
Yeah. There's only one time where I got shorted and I didn't say anything about it. It was like a couple $100, but they shorted the headliner like 500.
ooh,
And so I went to pick him up the next day to take him to the bus station. And I was still kind of new to like going out on the road and stuff. So I asked him,
mhm,
I was like, hey man, how do you deal with people like shorting you on money and stuff like that? Like, do you deal with that a lot? And he's like, oh, I already took care of it. I was like, whoa, okay, what'd you do? And he goes, well, the credit card was at the hotel was under the club owner's name, so I just watched $500 worth of porn last night.
Oh, that's perfect, man.
Yeah, it was fucking hilarious, man.
Yeah,
It's like fuck, that's a lot of goddamn porn, I'd imagine.
how do you even watch $500 worth of porn in that short a period of time? Seems like you'd have to like pull another television in.
Oh yeah, like have a little party, like a
Yeah. Like if we could get more than one paper porn, going on at the
Yeah,
same
yeah.
time.
He's got it on his phone. He's got a TV. He's got his laptop.
That's funny. Holy crap.
Yeah, yeah. It was pretty funny. Yeah, because he was
Jeez.
like pissed about it the night before, and then he didn't seem too pissed about it like when I picked him up. So
Right.
and so I brought it up.
That's
So he
funny.
dealt with
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Well, you figure it's like you're trying to build relationships with like whatever clubs it is. Doesn't that really just kind of like shoot them in the foot if they eventually like burn enough comics?
You know what? There's so many goddamn comics out there that'll do gigs for
Whatever. Yeah,
yeah.
I guess
So
it
like
doesn't matter.
for the
Yeah,
club owners, like I can find another review like in fucking 10 seconds.
yeah, of course.
So
Yeah,
that's why
that makes
I
sense.
didn't say shit because I like performing at that club and I still perform
Yeah.
at that club. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like if I would have said something, I probably would have never worked there again. But
yeah.
and he didn't give a shit, so he never worked there again. But
Right. I
yeah,
gotcha.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it
man.
was
It's
shitty,
always
but
yeah. It is what it is. That's just kind of
yeah.
how it goes sometimes.
Mhm.
And
And
yeah,
like
you
you know
wanna
what, I should have said something like just to you know just
general
to see if it was an
principle.
error on their part, maybe because like that happened to me in Birmingham last year where they shorted me a little bit. And so I emailed the guy and I was like, hey, man, I've got the email here. We agreed to this amount and they only paid me this amount. So, and he wrote me back like right away, apologized and everything. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry about that. It was just a miscommunication with him and his manager. So
Yeah.
sometimes
Yeah,
shit
it
like that
wouldn't
happens.
hurt. Yeah, it's like it wouldn't hurt if you're nice about it, and it's like I'm just clarifying.
Yeah, yeah. I even told him, I was like, I'm not
Are
trying to
you
be
fucking
a
me?
pain in the ass.
Yeah,
Yeah. And it was
yeah,
like my first time working there too. And I
yeah.
was like, man, I don't want to be a fucking, I don't know. I don't want
Well,
to piss
it
the
didn't
dude
hurt.
off, but I
Yeah,
also want to get
but
my
yeah,
money.
nobody's gonna fault you if you just like go, hey, is this how is this supposed to? Am I purposefully not getting?
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
don't know how you phrase it. Some, but yeah,
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 yeah.
man.
Yeah, he
No,
was cool
I'm.
though. He ended up sending me a check for the difference and everything, so
That's
worked
cool.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's
There was
sweet.
another time when I was in Detroit and I got a kidney stone and so I had to go to the hospital and missed one of the gigs on Friday night. And so of course they didn't pay me for that, which I wasn't expecting anyway.
Yeah.
But then like a week later the manager from the club called and asked me for my address to send me a check for the show I missed, which I thought was like really cool. He's like, yeah, I just felt bad because you drove all the way from fucking Albuquerque to Detroit to perform, and then you got a kidney stone, and
Yeah. Holy
so he
crap,
ended up
man.
paying me for the gig I missed, which I thought was super cool. Like, it's
That
rare
is
that a
awesome.
comedy club would do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh my
I thought that
God.
was pretty cool.
Yeah. Did the kidney stone, was that like one where it's like they just take you to you go to the ER and they give you some morphine and then just pass it, or did they have to do any weird shit to do it?
No, it was weird because like we did like the CAT scan and everything, and the guy told me he was like, the kidney stone is like the size of a grain of sand, like it is super
Yeah.
super small.
Yeah.
And I was surprised because I was in so much goddamn pain. Like I've never felt that much pain in my life.
Yeah. It's
And
crazy.
he's like, with it being that small, there's a good chance that'll just break up on its own.
Right.
But I was like nervous. Like every time I took a piss, I was like, oh, here it comes. You know what I
Right.
mean? Because like everyone's telling me all these horror stories at the
Yeah.
club the next day. Like,
Yeah.
oh my god, it feels like a fucking goat head coming out of your dick or whatever. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
but yeah,
I'm
it
asking
passed.
because I'm curious. Yeah, because I know that I have propensity for it, and it's like I've never
Yeah.
actually had one go through, but I know that it's like it's only a matter of time. It's a
Oh yeah,
ticking
yeah, yeah.
time bomb.
Yeah, dude. It's oh
Yeah.
man. It broke up on its own though, so I didn't have to piss it out or anything. But
No.
the pain would keep coming back. So I had to keep taking ibuprofen and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
but I was dehydrated, I guess, is what happened. Like
Yeah.
I told myself it's because I was drinking so much soda, so I quit drinking soda
Yeah.
after that. But Man, that fucking sucked. And it sucked because I was in this hotel and like I was just in so much pain, and like when I left, like I forgot one of my notebooks there, and
Oh.
I was performing at a wedding a couple weeks later, and it was a
Mm-hmm.
couple that I didn't know. They hired me based on my website,
Yeah.
and they wanted me to perform at their wedding. They wanted me to roast them, so I had all my notes in there, like all my jokes and shit for the wedding,
Yeah.
and I just lost it all.
Jeez. That's
And I
rough.
was nervous enough already. I was like, man, I don't want to fuck these people's wedding up because they don't know me, you know. Like I can go
Yeah.
up there and like totally fuck it up. So like
Yeah. Yeah.
the next 2 weeks, I was just like I was going through her emails that she sent me and stuff, like all the stuff that she sent on them, and like so I was just writing my ass off, and like some of the jokes came back to me and stuff. So, um, but yeah,
That's
I've
rough.
never been that nervous for a gig other than my first time performing. I think like I was
Yeah.
so nervous.
Roasts are so specific,
Yeah.
and it's one of those things that a roast by nature, you're doing a joke that you haven't tested,
Uh
and
huh.
you're doing it in front of the subject of the joke.
Yeah.
So it's
And
one of
their
those
family.
things that, it's that could be hard, and usually it's in a what you're talking about, you're getting paid, but in my case, it's like usually a competition setting.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, and then it's like a joke that you'll never use again.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
it's like one of those things.
Yeah, that's
But
why I usually don't do many roasts,
yeah,
just because
mhm.
it's like, no shelf life on the joke at all,
Yeah,
you know?
that's kind of why I'm doing this last one. I'm supposed to be one on March 16th when I
Yeah.
get back, and then it's like I enjoy doing it, but I
Mhm.
think I want to take a break from it because I do wind up spending so much time. I don't just like there's some guys that they can just like write their roast jokes like that day or an
That's what I
hour before they
normally
go
do.
up. Yeah,
Yeah.
mine is I have a tendency to overthink or think about it way
Oh,
too
yeah,
much.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, because I don't do like jokes. I've talked to you about this. I have a hard time writing short jokes. So for
Yeah.
when I'm doing a roast, I'm doing a bit.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
doing as short a bit as I can, but it's still a bit. It's like
Uh-huh.
it's gonna
Yep,
have
I hear
three
you.
laugh lines. But yeah, it's
Yeah,
funny.
I'm the opposite, man.
Yeah,
I used to write bits when I was first starting out, and I didn't like it. I just didn't like I guess I didn't like telling the bit. I just felt uncomfortable and weird. And I
yeah,
was like, I'll just do like snappy one-liners. Like that feels like that's more my style. So, but yeah,
yeah.
those work really well for roasts.
Yeah, well, it's perfect for roast. Yeah, and that's
Mhm.
like I'm trying to figure out like I think somebody gave me a thing. It's like asking a question. It might be the thing is like coming up with like a question is or there's some sort of thing that hasn't quite clicked in my head to where I can write a joke that's under 30 seconds,
Oh yeah,
but eventually it'll happen. It'll be nice, because I could definitely use them sometimes.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Especially with Albuquerque audiences with short attention spans.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
And then yeah, with short sets too, like at open mics, it's hard to because I always watch you at the open mic, and it's like, man, he's only gonna do one bit because he doesn't have time, you know.
Yeah. Sometimes, yeah, yeah. Like it's you can see that it's like I'm gonna do three bit. I'll either do three bits or it's like two bits or one bit. If
Yeah.
it's a really long one.
Hmm.
But yeah, such is the nature of things. When they work, they work.
Yeah, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's but yeah, I definitely it would be nice to be able to kind of like have to be able to pepper those longer bits, or just have shorter ones, to go with those longer bits.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It'll happen. It'll happen eventually.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I have a
just do
little bit more
some
time on my
maybe do
hands.
some writing exercises or something like that.
Yeah,
Like I used to write with I don't know if I told you this before. I used to have a writing partner who
yeah,
used to do one-liners as well. So
yeah,
so we used to write each other setup lines, and then we would write a punchline for each one. And then
yeah,
like they're all one-liners, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Um So maybe try something like that, or I don't know.
Yeah. And how do you, and I guess that's one of the things, how do you like think of like, if you were thinking of like a setup for a one-liner, what is usually like the way that you like kind of get an idea for a setup for a one-liner? Because I always like if I have an idea, it's always like this grand,
Yeah.
it seems to be like this grand concept, and it's like,
For
okay, I
sure.
can branch off from here to there, and this part goes to this, and it's just
Oh
way
yeah.
overly complicated. But how do you, when you're thinking of an idea for a setup for a one-liner, what is like your thought
So
process on that?
so for me and him, it's funny because we'd always write somewhere. Like we'd either go to like Borders or Barnes and Noble or maybe
Mm-hmm.
Village Inn or something like that. So a lot of
Yeah.
times we would just kind of like look around and then just write a line based on what we see.
Mm-hmm.
So like for an example, one of my setup lines for him was because I saw like an occupancy load sign. So my
Mm-hmm.
setup line for him was I recently hooked up with this chick who had a tattoo above her vagina that said occupant load 3. And so and his punchline for that was that's not even the weird part. The fire marshal signed it. So just like random shit like that.
Yeah. Well, and the setup in that one is almost a punchline in and of it. It's, the
Yeah.
setup
So
is
yeah,
kind of funny. Yeah.
sometimes the
Yeah.
setup was pretty funny. Yeah. Sometimes it would just be something boring.
Yeah,
Like
I like it when a setup is funny. It's like if you're working with something that it's like right out of the gate, you're already like dealing with a humorous concept, and we
for
haven't gotten to
sure.
the punchline. That's always fun.
Yeah. If they're laughing at the setup line, you got something good for sure.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
like
man.
another example, so he wrote a setup line for me, which was just like I always fall for those impulse buys at the store or at the grocery store or something. So then
Mhm.
my punchline was, but the ones at the porn store are even worse. Do I really need another butt plug keychain?
I need another butt plug keychain. There's such a
So yeah, we would
variety.
do that all the time, man. We would write like 100 of
Yeah.
those a day, and like most of them were
Yeah.
duds, but some
Yeah.
of them came out pretty
It's a good
funny.
exercise. Yeah, and that's
Hmm.
I've got to get out of my own way with these things where it's like I think that's the thing is I'm attaching too much meaning and possibility to some of these like setups.
Yeah.
Because it's always like it's not just the setup punch, it's what comes out. It's like tag, that flows into this,
Oh yeah.
blah, 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 which is great. I mean, like, it's, like I'm being successful doing that stuff, but it would definitely be a great exercise to just be like, what, not be so attached to the setup and,
Uh huh.
yeah. Yeah, maybe something. Your fucking brain just fucking.
Yeah. Yeah.
I gotta think of it right now.
Well, that's the cool thing though too is like
Yeah.
you come up with an idea and then you just like totally branch out into all this other stuff.
Hmm.
And so yeah, so like all the bits you write are it seems like they're at least 2 minutes, 2 to 5 minutes,
Yeah. It's
and
fairly involved.
oh
Yeah.
yeah. No, that's great. It's cool.
Yeah.
Is it hard to get the wording down though? Because like
Mm,
um I'll notice I can always tell when you're working on a new joke
yes.
just based on sometimes you stumble on the words.
Stumble on the words. Yeah. It
do
is.
you
It does.
do you rehearse at all or
I don't.
okay?
I rehearse at open mics. So
Gotcha. Yeah.
I will kind of go through it in my head.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, it is such that I'm using very specific language, and I'm
Mhm.
usually using procedural language. Like I'm using a scaffolding of reality,
Mhm.
so it's attached to something in reality like politics or history or some sort of technical thing that I'm using terminology or I'm phrasing it in such a way that you get a familiarity. So it's like I've heard this. like
Mhm.
on CNN, or I've heard this from a professor, or I've heard this or whatever, or from some, talking head person, but then I'm lacing it with absurdity or whatever silliness.
Mhm.
And if you don't do it right, then it just all falls apart.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
It'll just kind of take the piss out of it, you know.
for sure.
So yeah, it is a bit of a gamble. Um, with some of these longer bits, it's like if you're, start on, the Batman stuff, and it's like, oh, if you're not like gonna come with me on this is gonna be a long 4 to 5 minutes,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know. But usually you can get them, I mean, it just depends. But yeah, it is definitely being very precise with the words, and you're right. I mean, like I will skid out or just, kind of take the piss out of something just by fucking up one, little turn of phrase there.
Yeah,
But,
yeah, yeah.
but yeah, you live by the the word, and I don't know. There's something live by the, die by the there, and that, yeah. See, I just fucked that one up. So that's completely useless.
Yeah.
you know.
And it's so weird in comedy. Like, if you stumble on one word in a joke, it could totally fuck up the entire thing. Like, maybe not
Hmm.
so much in a bit,
Yeah.
but I like on one-liners for sure. If I
Yeah.
like, I remember doing a show and it's being recorded, and I stumbled a little bit on the word in my closing bit, and it didn't fucking hit as hard as it normally does
Yeah.
as a closing bit.
Yeah.
And I was just so fucking pissed off. I was like,
Yes.
God damn, just that one little fuck up, man.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it does. It definitely does. And that's most often what it does, is that it doesn't kill it completely. It just takes the piss out of it. So it's
Yeah.
like something that was supposed to be this big, explosive laugh is just kind of like it turns into
Yeah,
a
yeah,
B laugh. It's like you got to laugh off of it, but it just doesn't quite hit. And people don't, or unconsciously, it's weird how unconscious it is, the audience is of it. They probably didn't even notice that you
yeah.
did it, but sometimes you can stumble over your words, and it's like they will subconsciously lose confidence in you.
Yep.
That like you've like, oh, you don't quite know
Even
what
if
you're
you're like
talking
30
about.
minutes into your set and been
Yeah,
killing the entire
yeah,
time.
yeah.
Yeah.
You just don't know what you're talking about. Like you've broken the spell a little bit,
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what's fun about this shit. It's
Yeah, I know. Yeah, just weird little shit like that, man. It's
it's
so weird.
weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
That's,
weird. You got that momentum going the whole fucking time, and
mm-hmm.
then fucking
Yep. I've
Captain
done it,
Dipshit
man.
over here fucks it
It's
up.
like, yeah, it's like,
That's why
yeah,
I don't go on stage high, because
yeah,
I get cottonmouth so bad, and
yeah.
I always fuck up something.
Yeah, I'll forget my stuff. When I started doing comedy, I did it high, because I figured it would help me with my nerves. But then I realized that I was even more nerve-wracking forgetting,
Yeah.
punchlines and tags. And now my whole onstage persona is based on being up, out of my mind, energy, uptight, rageful. So it's like
Hmm.
if I'm high, it's like that doesn't jibe
Yeah.
with that, you know.
Yeah.
So it's yeah, it's just much better to be like sober and in my general state of being upset.
Yeah.
So so that works out.
Do you ever go on stage like angry, like something pissed you off beforehand or something like
Yeah.
that?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and actually that works perfectly. I mean, for me, it works perfectly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I could see that for sure.
yeah, and that works. It works well for music too. Like,
Really?
I think the anger is just a palette in my, it's a tool in my drawer that I've always worked with, because I always have an underlying level of rage,
Yeah.
which is, something for me to discuss with my therapist, but it exists. It's a thing, and most of the time, I mean, I can have like we can talk like this, but there is an
Hmm.
underlying level of just rage that exists that I can tap into. And yeah, when it's more on the surface, it's a help more than a hindrance, I guess.
Okay.
So yeah,
Yeah, I could definitely see that with your style for sure.
yeah,
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, it didn't hurt.
I've gotten pissed off on stage like twice
Mm-hmm.
at hecklers,
Yeah.
and I've gotten comments on both of them where, like, one of my friends, it was one of my friends who had seen me perform like a billion times, and
Mm-hmm.
he's like, "Dude, you had me fucking crying laughing so hard because I was so pissed at this heckler. I don't even know what I said to him, but I
Yeah.
was like fucking tearing into him pretty good, I guess."
Yeah.
And my friend was just like, "Dude, that's the fucking funniest I've ever seen you."
Yes. It can bring out there's something about just being genuinely angry, and if you have comedy as a weapon at your disposal, that you can be so quick and ruthless with people,
Oh yeah.
particularly in those situations. It's like, even if you aren't inclined to that, just
Mhm.
having that bit of it's like just, I mean, like, yeah, I had that. Uh, Gosh, I had a heckler the other night, and it was like one of those ones where this lady had been talking all night, and I didn't even really say anything. All I said it was just like, I'm in the middle of my bit, and I had like just this perfectly timed "shut the fuck up," just
Oh yeah.
shut the fuck up. And it was like a standing ovation of, just like, yeah, he said, finally somebody said it to this fucking bitch.
That's awesome.
So yeah, it was fun. Yeah. But yeah,
Yeah, I had a moment with a lady in Pueblo, Colorado one time. She was heckling everybody, and
Mm-hmm.
nobody said anything to her. Like, none of the staff said
Yeah.
anything to her.
Mm-hmm.
Just nothing. And so I had to go up, and I was like, I'm not gonna let her ruin my set. I'm just gonna plow through my jokes. I'm not gonna pause much. If you pause
Mm-hmm.
too long, she's gonna say some shit. And then
Yeah.
I was about 25 minutes into it was like a 30-minute set, and it was going
Yeah.
great. And then one of my friends had just passed away, and like I mentioned it, and then I kind of paused for a little bit, and then she chimed in, and she told me that both of her grandmas had just passed away, and so I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that," and then she said something about my friend that died, like something shitty. And I
Right.
was like, "All right, bitch, you're going down." So I go, "Oh, I got a joke for you." I go, "Knock, knock," and she goes, "Who's there?" And I go, "Not your grandma's."
Because they're dead.
Yeah, and then she walked
Uh,
out, and then I never saw her again. And the bouncer there came up to me after my set. He's like, "Dude, you made that girl cry." I was like, "Sweet, she should shut the
hey,
fuck up."
that's hey, sorry. That's how that works.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
so
just
that
don't
was
know
a
how
good.
people don't realize that it's like it's really like suicide by cop.
Yeah,
If you're like a heckler, but it's like somebody that doesn't know. It's like, well, I just ran at the cop with a gun. And I can't believe that I got. Yeah, I'm getting. I don't know. I don't know how you go to a comedy club and not. It's like, these are people that are like supposed to fucking make fun of people for a living, and
yeah,
yeah, you're not just gonna get like, torched,
uh
you
huh.
know but who the fuck knows.
Yeah,
What was I
when you get
gonna
some drinks in you, it's
I'm helping. Which
oh
is
my
always
god,
like the same realization, like it's the same thing that people say, it's the same
yeah,
wrong thing, but like they haven't, I guess, and I guess maybe it's just like people that haven't been around stand-up comedy, but they
uh
all
huh,
come to the same conclusion,
yeah.
because if they were around any comedy for any period of time, they would hear that like 7 times, from 7 different people. But
Yeah, we had a guy at the Looney Bin in Tulsa one time. I was the door guy there,
yeah.
and I had to kick this dude out. And so my boss was dealing with him in the lobby, and he was like, "Oh, I'm just trying to help." And he's like, "Trust me, you're not helping at all." And then he's like, "That's not true." He's like, "I went and saw Chris Rock. I was sitting in the front row, and he even told me I was helping him." I was like, "No, he didn't. You fucking piece of shit."
Now, And that's the thing is, uh, yeah, do you change your setup? Because I'm curious about this. This seems to be like one of those things that like people they don't tell you or whatever, when you're learning this stuff. But do you change your set like depending on, do you like sort of like gauge an audience like based on like what the other comics are doing? And do you ever go, you know what, I need a wedge for this one. I was gonna go with the driver, but I'm gonna pull it out we're in the sand here, or we're in the rough. And do you change it up?
I used to do a tester joke at the beginning of my set.
Yeah.
And it was kind of the gauge if they're going to laugh at clever material.
Yes.
And I always knew if they laughed at that joke, then I could do my clever stuff. But if
Yeah.
they didn't, I was going to have to dumb it down a little bit and do more dick jokes.
Right.
I don't do it anymore, and I don't know why. I just kind of do the stuff I want to do. Just,
Yeah.
Like I know, and like I just went to Little Rock recently, and they're not going to laugh at the clever stuff because, not the brightest people. So I usually
Little Rock, really?
Yeah, surprisingly, yeah. So last time I was there, I just went a little dirtier and stuff, and had way better sets.
Yeah.
And plus it was fun. I like doing dirty shit.
Yeah. I have a feeling I've done this a few times where it's like I've kind of looked at the audience and I've seen what is they're laughing at, and it's like I'm gonna do this esoteric thing that I want to do anyway, and it doesn't do
Right.
as well as you might think. And I should have just done homeless hand jobs and freaking whatever, your dick jokes, and made a night of it, and that would have probably been a better idea. But you live, you learn on these things.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to always write like I would write jokes and then I would kind of gauge the audience like what do I think they'll laugh at, but it's like that's not even fun.
No.
It's like I want to write the jokes I want to write, and if they laugh, then that's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
If they don't laugh, then fuck them.
Yeah. It's yeah, exactly. It's one of those things.
Yeah.
It's you gotta, again, there's a certain amount that you want them to laugh, but you can't. It's that balance between not giving a fuck and having your kind of like integrity, and then ultimately at the end of the day you're supposed to make them laugh. But I guess that's over. One set does not define you in that
sure.
regard. So
Mhm.
there's just going to be crowds that just don't like the cut of your jib.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yep. Yeah, because
Yeah.
all the jokes I have in my set right now have been tested out. They've all been laughed at several times.
Yeah.
So now it's just like, well, if you don't laugh, then I don't know what to tell you, buddy.
I've had that. You know what's so funny? I bombed, or I didn't bomb. I don't know. There's just certain situations that you get into. I think these shows where it's like you have like 15 comedians,
Mhm.
and you're like the last. You're like the 16th comedian that people have seen. People are just like ready for it to be over.
Oh yeah.
By that time, the salt has been licked off the comedy cracker at that point. And it's like I've had stuff that didn't work, and then I'll go and do that same bit, and it's like not only did that bit kill, but I get people mentioning in that bit in particular, oh,
Yeah.
that part, that one, that you
Uh-huh.
were questioning, your, whether you should do comedy anymore. That's the shit right there.
Yeah.
So it's like,
That's why I don't test out many of my new jokes in Albuquerque.
yeah.
Because last
Albuquerque's
time I did that, I had like 5 minutes of new stuff I'd never tried before, and I tried
yeah,
it at like Inside Out or
yeah,
something, and got nothing. And I was like, wow, maybe these jokes just suck, But they're
yeah.
all in my act right now, and they're all fucking doing great.
I wonder if I wonder about this, and this is, I'm about to go out of town for the first time, and like the only other out of town that I've done is Santa Fe, and
Mhm.
I do really well in Santa Fe.
Mhm.
Um, but I have to wonder if like doing this in Albuquerque kind of toughens you up a little bit,
Oh,
or
absolutely.
like it makes you like you've been training with weights around your ankles a little bit. not saying anything bad about Albuquerque, but it's a tough crowd sometimes,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
It's
I was talking to Jared about that
mhm,
on my podcast. Like when because I worked at Laughs for years, and
mhm,
that's when I started noticing the crowds they were kind of slow too. Like because there
yeah,
were a couple comics who were fucking brilliant that would perform at Laughs, and they would just get nothing.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
I was
they're
like,
this
what
is
is
not
going
a
on?
yeah, we're not a an intellectual populace here.
Yeah,
So I
but
think
the dirty jokes, man,
dirty
they
jokes will they'll eat that shit up. Yeah. Yeah.
for
Well,
sure, man.
you never know. I mean, that's the thing is it just depends on like what part of Albuquerque or what crowd from Albuquerque you get. But yeah, you
Yeah,
can usually look and see it's like, okay, yeah, this is gonna be a dick joke night.
uh-huh,
You gotta have your dick jokes ready.
for
But
sure.
yeah.
Yeah, Bill Hicks used to say he never swims too far from Dick Joke Island.
that's that's why sage words. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he
That's
was
good
awesome.
advice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he was great. Who are some of your favorite comics? Do you have did you grow up
Um,
watching comedy or
I
just kind of
did,
something you got
yeah.
into? Okay,
Bill Hicks was like one of the like the main guys that like got me into like
nice.
really like opened up my world and into that regard. And George Carlin, obvious, he was
Oh
like a
yeah,
big one. Prior, I want to say Doug Stanhope was like a big one for me. Eddie Pepitone was a big one for
oh
me.
nice.
Even back in the day, Richard Jenny was like
He was
I
fucking
just
brilliant.
loved Richard Jenny,
Yeah.
and it was just like an incredible fire hose of
Hmm.
freaking punchlines.
So fucking
Uh,
sad what happened to that dude.
yeah, it is. Well, and it's one of those. It's not an uncommon thing, amongst
Hmm.
our ilk.
Yeah,
There's not anybody here that like escapes the trauma, so
yeah.
or just mental illness or depression or anything like that. But yeah, now I've got a few. I'm trying to think if I'm leaving anybody out in the comedy thing prior. Yeah, I said him, Chris Rock, man. Um, yeah. Yeah, Carlin, I think Carlin and Hicks though, just because I liked them because they were talking about stuff, and like
Yeah.
I know that is um I think people do it a little bit too much nowadays, where it's like they kind of go for the applause line and forget to have the laugh line. But
Yep.
I do like when people are
Mhm.
talking about something that is like a relevant social commentary or they've
Mhm.
got something to say and they're couch. But it, at the end of the day, it is comedy, so it has to be couched in a laugh every 15 seconds.
For
So.
sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you
Sometimes that
know
can be hard to do. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But for me, it's like I like it when it's something. It's funny because it's true, and if you
Hmm.
have something that is true, it's brutally true. It actually hurts.
Yeah.
How true it is. And if you can do something like that, it's that's what I love.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. That's one thing I loved about Carlin was like he was so brilliant, and he had
mhm.
his own opinions on stuff, but then he could go and do like fart jokes, you know.
Yes. Yeah, pussy farts.
Yeah. Yeah, when I saw him in person, that's what he opened with. He just comes out and
Yeah.
he goes,
Yeah.
nobody ever talks about in person anymore, pussy farts.
Yeah.
And that was his opening line.
Yep. No, I think that's the opening to one of his specials, one of his
Yeah.
more brilliant specials. That's great. Yeah, you
Yeah,
gotta
I
have
love it,
that.
man.
You gotta have that juxtaposition of,
Hmm.
high social commentary and pussy farts, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
it's crazy how careful you have to be nowadays with what you say, you know.
yeah,
Um
for sure.
Yeah, it makes it hard to write jokes nowadays too,
Yeah.
because you're like, especially for me, because I like to be a little edgy,
Yeah.
and so it's like, so now you're thinking about like, oh man, I don't want to piss too many people off with this one. Should I even
Yeah.
write it down? And I fucking hate that. I hate it so much.
Yeah, yeah, it's at the end of the day, you just kind of do it, and then realize it's like, okay, is the social cost? You're doing a calculation of whether the risk or loss of reputation. Are you going to get
Yeah.
people holding signs outside of your
Well, yes. Well,
show?
some people will just
Yeah,
fucking they'll
yeah,
they'll hear the joke and then it'll just fuck them up for the rest of the show. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like
yeah,
they'll just zone you out and they'll just be like, what a fucking cocksucker, like
yeah,
how dare he does that? And just the
yeah.
whole time they're thinking it's like just fucking listen to the rest of the jokes. Just
Listen
chill
to the
out.
rest of the jokes, man.
You
You'll be
know?
all right.
Like nothing
It'll
I
be
say
all
is like super, super offensive where it's like you're
No.
gonna it's gonna ruin your day.
And
It
it's
might
so
ruin a
like
couple
tongue in
seconds.
cheek. Yeah. I mean, like everything that's like, that's the thing about your in particular is there's like zero political agenda at all. And it's like
Yeah.
very obvious that there is zero political agenda at
Yeah,
all.
yeah, yeah.
Which is what makes it refreshing and, it's nice,
Uh-huh.
so you should have that in your, it's like, obviously there is nothing that is meant by this, it's just fun, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I like that. But yeah, I don't people get that sort of shit.
Mm.
It's
Yeah.
but no, I don't know. I guess I probably do have stuff that I've written that I haven't brought out because I just don't want to deal with it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
Yep.
uh, I'll wait until it's like so undeniably like, it's like I know I'm gonna get more than half on, or something. It's like I'll take the risk.
Yeah.
But it's one of those fucking things.
Yeah.
But now people are too fucking uptight. It's
Oh, I know. And it's so ridiculous. You would think at a comedy club where people are there paying tickets to see comedy that they
yeah,
wouldn't be, but
yeah.
they are.
People enjoy being offended. Well, there's a certain righteous indignation feels good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah.
There's like a little, it's a
Mhm.
buzz that you get from, excoriate, just yeah,
Oh, for sure.
this fucking guy who
Yeah.
didn't
I there's
said the
a
thing.
there's a lady in Dallas a couple years ago.
Hmm.
So she was heckling my buddy, and my buddy like made her look pretty stupid.
Hmm.
So then, she didn't like that. So she was getting. So he's got some race material that he does, but it's like it's clever stuff that he's doing, and like if you're
Hmm.
not paying attention, you're gonna take it the wrong way. And
Right.
she clearly took it the wrong way, and she was
Yeah.
an older white lady. So I was going out to set up our merchandise outside and stuff, and I see her out there complaining to one of the bouncers at the club who's black.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Did you hear his material? Blah blah blah." And he's like, I've known this dude for at least 10 years. I've heard him tell this joke probably 100 times.
Yeah.
I know the guy. He's not racist." He's like, "Did you listen to the joke?" And she's like, "Well, no, I didn't." And he's like, "Then shut the fuck up." And she's like
Yeah.
crying and stuff. And it's like,
Yeah.
just shut up.
Well, it's honestly it's a bunch of annoying white people that really
Hmm.
like are ruining it for everybody,
Right? It is,
because
man.
it's like, yeah, I mean it is by and large, privileged ass
Yeah,
fucking white people that
it totally
that are
is.
being such a pain in the ass about this,
Yeah,
it's like fucking black people could give a fuck about it. It's like,
right?
actually like care whether you're actually racist, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. And what's
That
funny
that
about that is like I've
yeah.
told jokes that are pretty racist, and black
Mhm.
people fucking love them as long
Yeah.
as they're funny. It's
Yeah.
the white people that get all fucking weird about it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. It's well, and we're infantilizing In the end, it's actually more disrespectful because we're infantilizing, whatever, marginalized group and like saying they can't take it, this, oh, we need to protect them. We, our white savior, need to come and protect these poor people from your filthy, offensive joke.
Yeah.
And it's like, we don't need your help, lady.
Right.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, I noticed that
get over
the
yourself.
the jokes that I had that were, somewhat racist, like they always do better when there's more black people than white people in the crowd.
Yeah.
Like every
Yeah, I
time.
mean, imagine that, imagine that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny, man. Yeah, I don't have anything on that. I mean, like, I'm always couching, I'm couching politics in a very deep level of absurdity. So it's
Mhm.
something that's so, it's like I'm basing it like off of like factory farming or whatever. It'll be like some actual real issue that I'm using the language of, but then I'm putting it's on Pokemon or Batman or
Mhm.
whatever.
Yeah.
But that's just, I don't know. That's fun.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Do you have any like current comics that you like to watch?
Um, I'm trying to think of like somebody who's like really blowing my skirt up. Bill Burr is like one, but I mean, he's current, but I guess
Yeah.
he's not like new or anything like that. I'm
But he's
trying to think.
still going, yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of somebody who's like new, you know. Um, I don't know. It's kind of hard to say. Oh, you know who I really like is Mark Norman.
Oh yeah.
Mark
Yeah.
Norman and Sam Morril
Uh-huh.
are really good.
Yeah.
And you know who? Gosh, who's the guy? He didn't get on Saturday Night Live.
Oh, Shane Gillis?
Shane Gillis. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like Shane Gillis.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Have you
yeah.
heard Chad Daniels?
I haven't.
You should check out Chad Daniels. That dude, he's one of my favorites.
No shit. Yeah.
Yeah, he's great. Very
Hell
funny
yeah.
dude. Yeah.
I'll have to check him out.
Yeah. I think you'd like him.
Yeah, I'll
He's
definitely.
got like 5 or 6 albums out.
Nice. Oh, I'll have to
Yeah.
check him out. Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you say the name was again?
Chad Daniels?
Chad Daniels.
Yeah. Yeah, I like him a
I'm
lot.
not
I
gonna
worked with
remember
him
that.
years and years ago, and just he was so goddamn funny back then, and he's still one of my favorites. Like, and he puts out new specials all the time. Just great writer, man. Just very funny. In person, he's
Mhm.
funny. Like uh, just super funny. I think you'd like him though.
Yeah, I'll
He's
have to
got some
check
great
him out.
stuff.
Yeah, definitely have to check him out.
Yeah, yeah. Mark Norman, man, he's a brilliant dude. I like him a lot, and Sam.
Yeah, well, there's such like in that just setup punch, they have that, that style that is just
Hmm.
such the, it's like, a comic purist,
Yeah.
setup punch, setup punch. This is how you do it,
Hmm.
so it's something that's far removed from what I do,
Hmm.
but I love it,
Yeah, 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 for sure.
yeah, I love it.
I think
Um,
it takes a lot to write bits, man. Like at least for me, anyway. Like I just I'm so floored at people that can do it and just be funny all the way throughout, like you do it. Like like there's constant laughs throughout, and
nice.
Christopher Titus is like that. Like his stories are just so goddamn funny all the way throughout, and like um, I don't think I could do that, man. It's so hard. Like just writing all that stuff and then performing it, like. That's awesome. So kudos to you for fucking doing that, man. That's awesome.
Thanks, man.
I'm
Thanks.
excited to hear how your shows in Denver go, man.
Yeah, yeah.
That's gonna be awesome.
I'm super stoked for it, man.
Yeah,
It's one of those yeah, I'm wanting to, I guess the idea is just to go and blow the doors off the place and, get it ass back,
for
I
sure,
mean,
for sure.
and no, the momentum is good and I have a feeling it's going to be a lot of fun because it's like we're really doing, we've got shows this week and then it's like we've got like almost a whole week where it's like we've maybe got like one or two shows
Yeah,
and it's just like we're just gonna go and hit like every freaking mic that there is,
for
just
sure.
to,
And
you
then
know,
just being there, sometimes like if you're doing a show, people will be like, "Hey, I got a show
yeah,
Tuesday or
but just
whatever. You want to
meeting
hop
people,
on or whatever?"
it's just meeting people and kind of like introducing yourself to the scene and
For sure.
seeing how it goes. I don't know. I'm looking forward to. I'm really kind of looking forward to doing mics.
Yeah.
Because it's like one of those things that you just don't. I don't know about how it is in Denver, but you just don't expect much from people at mics.
Oh, dude, Denver's fucking great, man.
Yeah.
Denver's got one of the best comedy scenes in the country,
That's
like
what it seems.
easily.
That's what I've heard, and that's what it seems like.
Yeah.
Because it's so. It seems like they have like seven. You could go to like seven mics in a night if you want to.
Oh, dude, yeah, there's
Um.
tons, man. There's a
You
bunch
know.
of showcases, a few
Yeah.
clubs. Like Comedy Works is the best club in the country, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just it's awesome, man.
Yeah, and it's almost like a Buddhist temple that you got to like sit outside, cross-legged in the rain to get into that one. And it's like there's like a huge waiting list. It's almost like the Comedy Store the way that they do it. It's like you get in and you get 2 minutes or 3 minutes, and then it's
Yeah,
like
your
you get
first
onto
time
the thing.
you'll get 2 minutes your first time if they don't know
Yeah,
who you are. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I used to live in Denver, and when I moved up there in 2009,
yeah.
the guy running the new talent night knew who I was, so he always gave me
Mhm,
4 minutes.
mhm.
And then I started hosting the new talent night once in a while,
Nice,
like because you can show up and try and get on the standby list, and like some nights he would just be like, "Hey, you want to host?" I'm like, "Yeah, hell yeah,"
sweet.
So, and then he would always give me like sweet spots on the lineup and
Mhm,
stuff like that. And yeah, it's cool. Yeah, but it's like, yeah, you get on like once every 8 weeks or something like that,
for
you
sure.
know. But it's something worth waiting for sure because it's
It's
just
a great club, yeah.
it's
That's
so awesome, man. It's just it's a good feeling, like just killing. Like I never had a bad set there. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like it's rare that a joke doesn't land there. You know.
Yeah, something about the building, and it seems like there's there's so many such a yeah. Yeah,
Plus,
I'm
and Denver has comedy fans, a shitload of
yeah.
them. They'll come see you even if they don't know who you are, and that's the opposite of Albuquerque. They'll only
Yeah.
come see you if they know who you are. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I remember
Yeah.
just hanging outside the Comedy Works one night, waiting for a buddy of mine, and just watching people walk by. They like almost every single time they'd be like in a conversation, then they'd walk by the Comedy Works, then they'd just start talking about comedy. And I was like,
Mhm.
and they were knowledgeable about comedy. You know what I mean? It's
That's
like that's fucking
awesome.
cool.
Yeah. No, I'm trying to it's one of those things that I could definitely see myself moving there for a while, but I think
Hmm.
it might be better to kind of keep a home base here,
Yeah.
just because the cost of living is so
Oh, for sure.
freaking low. And then I'm gonna start doing shows here, or I want to start producing shows here,
Hmm.
just to you know add to the showcase, you know
For
stuff.
sure. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, just to give people here stage time and be able to give people from out of town stage time. So it's like hey, I can get you up here and
Hell yeah.
well, however that fucking works.
Oh yeah.
But
That's awesome, man. Well,
yeah,
sweet dude. Yeah, we just hit an hour. I
yeah.
usually try to keep it about 45 minutes, but you're fun to talk to, so we went a little over.
Oh, well, shit,
Um
I'm honored. Yeah, man. Dude,
dude,
well,
yeah,
thanks for having me, dude. This is a blast.
absolutely,
I
yeah.
love talking shop with you. Yeah.
Likewise, man. Yeah, I could do this all
Yeah.
day, man. So you got a new website, right? chuckparkercomedy.com? Is that
Yeah,
it? Okay.
chuckparkercomedy.com, and I'm at Chuck Parker Comedy on Instagram. I'm Chuck Parker on Facebook. I am at Chucked Up Comedy on Twitter, even though I never tweet. But if
Yeah.
somebody follows me, but just one person follows me, then I will tweet. Probably not much more, but I'll think about it.
Yeah.
I'll think about it.
I used to really like Twitter, and then now it's just like I don't know. It's hard to go on there.
Yeah,
I
it's a
don't.
cesspool.
Yeah,
Uh,
I even won an award. I was the best local Twitter to follow in Rio Rancho in 2018.
wow.
which I didn't
That's
know was
cool.
a thing.
No
Some
shit.
lady's like, "Hey, come pick up your award." It's like, for what?
That's pretty. You put that on the wall. I mean, do you have like a plaque
yeah.
or something?
Yeah, they gave me a little frame and everything. Pretty neat.
Hey, dude, that's cool.
Yeah. So
Right
I
on,
guess I was
man.
pretty funny in 2018 on Twitter
Shit,
compared
man.
to all the other Rio Ranchins.
All the other Rio fucking punks. Fucking
Yeah. I start using that like next time I go to Arby's or something and they're out of something. I'm like, obviously you don't know who I am. 2018 best local Twitter follow.
Just like fucking open up the thing.
I'll be tweeting about this.
Yeah. You'll be hearing from me on the old Twitter.
You'll be hearing from me in 240 characters.
Or less. That's funny.
Hell yeah,
man.
dude.
Hell yeah, man. Right on,
I'm
dude.
excited
Well,
to
thanks,
hear how you
thanks
do
for
in
having me,
Denver.
man. Yeah,
For
man.
sure,
Thanks,
buddy.
dude. For sure.
Yeah, let me know how it goes. I'll talk to you when you get back.
Will do.
So
Yeah, sounds
Hell
good,
yeah.
man.
Awesome. Thanks, buddy. Take care.
All right, you too, man. Take care.
Thank you.
We'll see
you,
you.
buddy.
All right, bye-bye.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. As always, if you want to like and subscribe on YouTube, that would be fantastic. Also, if you buy merchandise from my website, funnyfletcher.com, and enter in the promo code In the Rye Podcast, and that's all capitals, no spaces, you'll get 10% off of all your purchases on there. And as always, thank you guys for listening. Thank you to John Singleton from Anesthesia for the outro music. And thank you to Jarrett Reddick from Bowling for Soup for the intro music. Talk to you next time.